Most people think Discord is for gaming, maybe group chats, maybe crypto. There's a lot of crypto communities, but now I'm using it to run my entire business, run newsletters, content, YouTube production, client work, analytics. All of it is living in one Discord server with my AI agents powered by OpenClaw running alongside of me. So by the end of this video, you're going to see the full setup, every channel, every agent, how it all connects, and I'm going to give you a prompt that builds the whole thing automatically. So even if you've never touched Discord outside of a gaming server, you're going to be able to build this with OpenClaw. Now, a quick thing before I get into this video, some of you saw my last video where I said OpenClaw was dead. We could pull it up right here. You could see, I talked about OpenClaw being dead because of Claude Code Remote Control coming out, and I got super excited. I'm still excited about Claude Code Remote Control, but I did say it was over, and I'm pretty sure I was wrong, at least up until this point. So I'm just going to be straight with you. After actually trying to run my full operation on Claude Code alone for the past week or so, using, remote control, I've been hitting a ton of walls. It's buggy. There's no scheduling, no multi-agent support that works as well as OpenClaw, and really no easy way of dealing with things like Discord integration, the things that actually matter when you're running a business. These are things that are not just chatting with an AI, but actually, building entire systems and work multitasking. So I came back to OpenClaw, and what I built after coming back with Discord, which is honestly one of the biggest, persuasive factors in getting me back here. But what I built with this is the most powerful setup I've ever had for, running my businesses with AI, and I've been doing this for years now. So that's what this video is going to be all about. Now, when you look at using, all these different tools for running your business, most of them for running a business, whether that be project management apps or, team chat platforms, maybe dashboards, none of them have really done a good job at letting you co-work with AI agents, on your own terms, controlling them, telling them what you want to do, fully customizable, responding to in real time, running scheduled jobs in the background, all while being accessible from your phone with, zero extra setup on top of what you're already doing. But it is possible with OpenClaw, and each week OpenClaw is getting more and more powerful. And seriously, the Discord setup is it's like changes really everything. It really does. So your agent, you can see here, you're looking at my Discord right now. This is for my business, Alex Fron LLC. Super creative here with my name, but we have the entire agent operating system working in here right now, right? So your agents, I have two in here. I'm going to explain a little better, but your agent or agent gets its own Discord account. It can join your server, and it just lives and works here. It can create channels, create threads. You message it, work together. It messages you back, post updates, run scheduled tasks, pull in data. You can drop files. It can read them, screenshots, anything, and it shows up right here. And each one of these threads provides its own session for OpenClaw, so its own context. So none of it's bleeding into the other. So, the way I was working before, I was using Telegram with OpenClaw, right? And I was keeping everything in one chat, which is just miserable when you're running many different arms of your business, right? Everything was getting messy. Now with this setup, I can have everything clearly labeled and clearly isolated from one another. Now, before I walk you through each one of these, threads or servers I have set up here, let's just talk about why you would want to set up Discord to begin with compared to all the other options you have with OpenClaw, like Telegram or iMessage or whatever, WhatsApp, etc. There are many, many reasons, but, including the one I said, which was that you can have various different threads here going on. But it's just easier too. It's way easier to set up. And on top of that, it's free. There's no per seat pricing. This is not like any of your other project management tools. You don't need a premium tier for this. It's all free. Secondly, it works on desktop and mobile very well. Discord is very well developed. It's been around forever. We get the same interface. We get the same notifications. When my agent or agents finish a task at 2 a.m., I have them drop it on my phone, and I wake up in the morning and I see it, or I can respond from bed. I can approve a draft from the beach here on the corner. I can have coffee in the morning while it's doing something. All of this can happen, through my phone or laptop. The mobile experience is incredible. It's way better than many of the other ones, and definitely better than all of your project management tools out there, right? And three, the channels, like I said, give you natural organization. So instead of one big giant chat thread, you have, one workspace, one operating system that's very clearly organized, all right? And then lastly, OpenClaw treats Discord as a, first-class channel. The agent gets its own bot account, it gets its own token, it operates inside your server like an actual team member, and it's not a hacky integration. It's super smooth. It's, the primary interface, all right? So now let's take a look at what mine looks like. Here on the left, you can see the sidebar. You can see two different main categories here. The first is Alex, which is my main personal brand. Everything I produce under my own name, right? And this is dedicated to Proxy. Proxy is like my first ever agent I built with OpenClaw. It's my main agent. I would say it's like my co-CEO of my company, whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it like a chief agent officer or something. But it's like my main agent. It works on my own brand, all right? That's Proxy under Alex's brand. The second channel I have here, the second category I have here is labeled as clients, and then in parentheses you can see Atlas. This is the second agent I created, and Atlas handles everything I do on the outside of my own brand, all right? This is all my client work. So besides my own brand, I do things like I ghostwrite for several CEOs. I have various different publications I write for, and all of these different outside client work, Atlas controls this. And I do that so that, everything is completely separated, and I'll explain why that matters in a minute. But here, my personal, I'm not going to open up the clients one because it has a lot of information about clients and stuff, but it's basically, I have channels for each different client, each different task. But here in my personal, you can see here, we have a general tab where whenever I just, want to talk about something with Proxy that doesn't fit in a specific category, I'll just throw it in general. This is like my everyday talking back and forth here, all right? We have co-writer. This is the entire thread for my co-writer system, which if you don't know by now, it's my own platform and training program, for building a co-writing system with AI, specifically Claude Cowork. So this helps me literally, you can see here, I build my offers, I build these skills and the plugins that are inside of there, I deal with the pricing. This one also builds my entire landing page, my entire platform. So here, if you look, I'm running OpenClaw here. Let me log in here. I'm running OpenClaw on a isolated Mac Mini, right? And when I run it on an isolated Mac Mini, I can literally screen share right into it when I'm here. So what you're looking at now is not actually the system I'm on. It's not my MacBook Pro. It's actually the isolated Mac Mini on my desk, and I'm screen sharing into it, and I can see everything Proxy's doing. So this is my co-writer system. I'm about to launch the second version and the new, so I'm redoing the landing page, redoing the platform. So this landing page you see here, this beautiful landing page, all right, plus here we have an analytics dashboard. And then we also have, which I'm not going to pull up right now, but the actual platform inside of the co-writer system. All of this is being built inside of that Discord channel here with my main Proxy agent. So it's all controlled. So Proxy's deploying apps, editing the code bases, fixing my landing pages, redoing it all. That's all happening inside of this. Then I have one for content ideas. This is, helping me come up with a ton of different content ideas for YouTube, for Substack. It's always watching my conversations, the memory I'm having with my agents, and creating these content ideas. We have one for YouTube, which runs through, YouTube scripts. It wrote the YouTube script for this video, helps me with my analytics, everything dealing with YouTube. I have a separate one that I just created before this video just for thumbnails. Because Proxy has access to Nano Banana Pro. I just drop it my script, and it creates these thumbnails for me. You could see it was starting to get a little bit messy in here with a ton of different thumbnails, so I wanted to just give it its own thumbnail channel here or whatever. So we have thumbnails. Then I have Substack. This is for running all my Substack operations. Lastly, we have analytics, where we build analytics dashboards and track my analytics for YouTube, my analytics for Substack, analytics for social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, X. And you could see here, back on Mac Mini, on Proxy's operating system, we have a dashboard that it keeps updated. Every day it runs. It pulls my analytics from all these sites through, for example, YouTube API and also Substack, and it tracks all that and drops me an update here. So here you can see, today at 9 o'clock a.m., We got YouTube daily report. It told me, my current subscriptions, my current subs. I gained 20, since yesterday. Views, over 1,833 views, videos. It gives me some recent videos and notable changes over the last 24 hours. And lastly, I have competitor research, where I have a lot of different YouTubers that I follow, and also just the YouTube API for Proxy to just go search YouTube every day and look for trending topics in the area of AI, especially OpenClaw Claude Code, and gives me these ideas. So that is how Proxy, my personal agent, is, completely built out. And anytime I want to add a new one, I can just tell it, like, add a new thread here inside of our channel, for whatever I want, right? Now, Atlas, like I said, I'm not going to open it up here for clients, but Atlas handles all of my different clients. So I have one for each. I have a thread for each client. I have threads for, ghostwriting, threads for, I run Substacks for CEOs and stuff like that. So that's what's in Atlas. We'll talk more about that another day, but you could totally set all of these up for your different branches of your company, or different roles that you play, and whatever it is that you do. Now we can run a little test. I can show you here. So, like, for example, if you've watched any of my other videos, so my full setup looks like this now. We have Discord, which is my messaging platform, the operating system, where I communicate back and forth with my agents, right? The agents are running here on the Mac Mini, like you saw. They're running on their own isolated environment. And then what we do is we share, let me see if I can pull this up. We share a Obsidian workspace. So I just put up our Obsidian workspace. So that's what you're looking at here now. We have an Obsidian vault that I share in between me and my agents, right? And this is like our content. This is how we share all the content back and forth. Proxy or Atlas, my two agents, can make changes on the Mac Mini. It'll sync instantly to my personal machine. I can make changes, refer to them, right? So here, what you're looking at is literally the script for this YouTube video, but I have it built out into, same situation here, my own personal brand, my co-writer system dashboards. I can literally view the dashboards here in HTML. We have YouTube analytics, email sequences, all my Substack newsletters. Then we have things for clients. And then I can also see all the skills that my agents have access to here. So all these different skills that I have built, plus all of my different MD files. So that's like my full, environment, my full working environment with Discord, the isolated Mac Mini, and Obsidian for content. And, what that allows me to do is, for example, if we come here to Alex, we come here to YouTube, let's say we have these scripts for my latest video, the one you're watching right now. This is the script for this video, right? Let's say I want to take this script and I want to turn it into a Substack newsletter, right? All I would have to do is go into my Discord. I will go into my Substack thread here with Proxy, and I would tell Proxy, Proxy, go look at my YouTube scripts and the latest one on building out the agents in Discord. I want you to take that script and create a Substack newsletter out of it. And that's all I got to do. I tell Proxy this. You can see Proxy's typing, and it's literally going to take that script that you saw. It's going to use its agent skills that I gave it, which includes, writing Substack newsletters, and it's going to put that all together and then drop it back in the Obsidian Vault for me to see. So, you're going to see Proxy is always going to be typing, your agent's going to be typing, and then once it's finished, it's all going to come through Discord here. All right, so it took like 2 minutes, and you can see now Proxy just finished and told me the newsletter is at review/Discord OS newsletter, 416 words, follows the exact template, blah, 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 blah. So, like, now what you can do is you can go back into Obsidian, for example. I can go back into Obsidian, and what I created was, let's see if we could see it here. What I created was a review folder. Now, this review folder acts as a folder for my agents to drop all, work in progress into that folder. Instead of going and putting it in its final place, I like to drop it all in a review folder so that I can then, like, see, each piece of content before I put it in its final place. So you can see here we have the newsletter. I run my entire business from Discord. Here's the full OpenClaw setup, and it follows my structure and my template based off of my skill that I gave it for writing newsletters. Now, here's where this setup gets really cool, right? I'm running both of these agents And I actually have a third one that I didn't even talk about right now, but I'll talk about it later. But I'm running both of these agents on one OpenClaw instance, meaning they're both running from that same Mac Mini. I don't have two Mac Minis running two agents. No. If you just tell your OpenClaw to set this up, it's in its documentation. It knows how to do it. And now that I have them both running on the same instance, I can still make them completely separated from each other, or mostly isolated from each other. So they have different Discord bot accounts, they have different workspaces, they have different memory, different channel permissions. My Proxy brand agent, which deals with my personal brand, doesn't really mess around inside of the client channels, and vice versa. Atlas doesn't mess around in Proxy's channels. With that said, they can communicate with each other, but I have it set up, I have their instructions set up in a way that only if I tell them to communicate with each other do they communicate with each other. So Proxy, like I said, is really like my coworker, like my co-CEO. I work with Proxy 24/7, and I used Proxy to basically set up Atlas's entire workspace because Proxy already knew about my clients, already knew about my work, and I told it, hey, look, we're now scaling up and I want to separate this out. So go create your own agent, Atlas, that is going to take care of all the client work to free you up to just focus on my brand, right? Now, anytime I want to, I can tell Proxy, for example, in this general channel, hey, go edit, this file inside of Atlas, or give this to Atlas, and vice versa. So while they're, isolated, it doesn't mean that they're completely unaware of each other's existence. They are very well aware and can actually work together. But this makes sure that there's no unintentional bleed in between my personal brand and client work unless I want there to be, right? Sometimes you do want there to be because there's a lot to learn, right? You don't want your personal brand accidentally referencing a client's project or vice versa, but you might want to, for example, tell your personal agent to learn from something you did in your outside client work that you can then bring to your personal audience, right? So at this point, it's literally like I have two employees. One runs my brand, one runs my client services. Absolutely insane. The craziest setup I've ever had because, like I've mentioned many times before, I have not spent a penny on outside help, and now I'm building an entire company, or I'm building an entire workforce of agents under me. We already crossed six figures in this project, this content business over the last year, and now that was without any real agents doing work for me. That was just with working with Claude Code. Now I have actually autonomous agents running 24/7, and I can keep scaling them up and up. It's going to be an insane 2026, an insane future. So you really need to be building yourself these agents. So looking here at the, two agent split right here in my Discord with the Proxy and Atlas, it's not just organizational though. It's more than that. It's also a quality control mechanism, which is absolutely crucial when dealing with OpenClaw agents or just agents in general. Each agent now has, a smaller, more focused workspace. Each one's memory is relevant to what it actually does and what it's focused on. The brand agent knows my voice, my content strategy, YouTube patterns. The client agent knows my clients' voices, their styles, their deadlines. And neither one is trying to do everything, which will absolutely sink your ship right away if that's what you're trying to do. Now, if you only run one type of work, your own brand, no clients, one agent is fine. But the moment you have two distinct work streams, split them, all right? It's the single biggest upgrade I made to this setup and you can make to your own setup. If you come back here into my screen sharing of OpenClaw, we can take a look at the .openclaw folder, and we can see now that we have in the agents folder, you could see I have two agents now. I have my main one and I have my client's agents. And then, for my main one, we have its memory, we have its workspace here, right? This is like the top level memory, but if you come into the workspace of, my agent, we have, all of my personal stuff here, my skills, my user.mds, agent.mds. And when you go to clients, you can see, let me find it here. It's a little messy here. You can see I have a separate workspace right here just for clients. So it looks kind of messy, but OpenClaw can organize this all better. It knows what it's doing, but that's really what it is. We have a workspace for myself, a workspace for clients, and now I even have a third one here, which I'll talk about later, which is an experiment I'm doing, building an agent that is going to just run its own portfolio of newsletters and content businesses. So that's like my next business idea with these 24/7 agents. So now you have the entire, setup of how I run my business in Discord. It's a Discord server running a full business operating system, basically. Channels organized by function, 2 agents, more to come, handling separate work streams with zero crossover unless I want it to be. Live responses, memory, automated jobs, and a review queue, like you saw in my Obsidian, that keeps me in control of everything. This is not a concept. This is actually what I'm using every single day to run my 6-figure business with no employees, no overhead, all profit. And you know the architecture, you have the channel structure, and you now have a prompt as well that I'm going to include below that will build this all for you. All right. And literally, as I'm getting to the end of this video to show you the setup prompt, I realized I didn't even have it pulled up. So I realized it's a good opportunity to show you. I'm going to come here to YouTube, which we've been working on here, which me and Proxy have been working on this video. And I'm going to tell it, hey, I'm recording my YouTube video right now, and I forgot to show the audience the prompt I'm giving them to set up their own Discord environment. Can you paste the prompt here so I can read it right from Discord? And then we'll see if Proxy can go pull that up for us. All right, and there Proxy goes, giving me the prompt. This prompt and all my other resources for building these systems is below. You can find it in my Substack, so check it out. And this is what the prompt looks like. It's going to ask your OpenClaw to set up Discord as your business operating system. It's going to read your entire workspace, so hopefully you already have some stuff built out here. It's going to read your entire workspace, your user.md, agents.md, tools.md, and anything else that's relevant in that workspace to understand what it is you do, how you work, what your clients or projects are, what your day-to-day operation might look like. Then it will, it will suggest a Discord channel structure that's personalized to you. So you can see what mine looks like here with the general co-writer content ideas, but of course yours is going to be way different. So your OpenClaw agent will suggest it based off of your own workspace and work, not generic templates. It's going to map it to your actual work. All right. And then it will present this as a list to you. You can choose what it is you want. It's going to wait for your review and approval. And then it's going to finalize it together with you. And then lastly, it's going to log it to your tools.md file, which is where it will keep all of your Discord tokens and stuff, and it's going to walk you through step by step. If you have no idea how to do that, it's super easy, and your OpenClaw will walk you through it step by step. All right, it's going to put all that, walk you through it, connect everything, and then you're going to be good to go. You're going to have this workspace set up for you. By far the best one you can set up for a multi-agent workflow right now. So if this was useful, drop a comment below. Tell me what channels you would add to your server or you already have. This helps the algorithm push this to more people. I'll answer questions in the comments. And like I said, the setup prompt and all of my system and tools are available on my Substack, link in the description. So make sure to check this out and subscribe to the channel.